Okay, in this lesson today, we're going to talk about new nations in the Americas, how these nations begin to win independence from countries in Europe, and how this is going to lead to a problem for the United States and Great Britain, which is going to lead to America issuing the Monroe Doctrine. Okay, as you guys remember, Mexico, and present-day Mexico, was once a province of Spain, okay? And the people that controlled Spain were the Spanish. Even Creoles, and Creoles, again, if you remember from way back in the early part of the year, Creoles are people born in the New World, in Mexico, of Spanish parents. But they can never rise to the top, not to the highest form of power, because they were not born in Spain. If you remember their name, the people who were born in Spain that came to Mexico were the Peninsulars. Okay, so Creoles are beginning to become unhappy because they have little control of what happens in this land. They have no power. The natives are unhappy because they are not getting any fair treatment, and you start to see this revolutionary idea sweep the country. Father Hidalgo, who's a Spanish priest, begins to lead this uprising. He is captured by the Spanish and he is executed. Another priest, Father Morales, also starts to lead an uprising. Once again, he is captured and executed. Now, this idea of independence begins to spread, and revolutionary forces begin to take control, and they win control of Mexico, and Mexico wins its independence from Spain. And Mexico kind of models itself out of after the United States, and it becomes a republic with its own constitution. This happens in 1821. So now Mexico has won its independence from Spain. Like in Mexico, people in South America, are also eager for their liberation, their independence from Spain as well. And you have many of these revolutionary leaders begin to rise. The most famous is Simon Bolivar, which present-day Bolivia is named after. Simon Bolivar is the best known. He is a Creole as well. He's from a wealthy family. He begins to lead this uprising. He says that he will never rest until the people of his land free themselves from the shackles of Spain. All right? So he leads an army up over the Andes, and he defeats the Spanish, and he becomes the president of a country at the time was called the Republic of Great Colombia. So now Spain has lost another possession. But it gets worse for Spain. 1816, Jose de San Martin leads Argentina to freedom. Then this guy goes on and helps Chile, Peru, and Ecuador win their freedom. In 1821, Central America declared its independence from Spain. In 1824, they all formed what was called the United Province of Central America. So by 1825, the mighty Empire of Spain, you remember 1492 when Columbus comes, they're the only Europeans in the New World, and their empire was vast, stretched from the deserts of North America, all of Central America, and most of South America. But by 1825, Spain only had control of Puerto Rico and Cuba. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Hey, but didn't you say that Spain controlled Florida? Oh, we'll get to that. So again, here's a map. Now here's Mexico. It's won its independence from Spain. Here's the United Province of Central America right through here. There's Greater Colombia, which is Simon Bolivar, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, and Argentina. Okay. Now Brazil, of course, remember, Brazil was never part of Spain. That was part of Portugal, if you remember that. All right. You'll notice right here, though, you have the British Guyana, the Dutch Guyana, and French Guyana. So the British, the Dutch, and the French do have some possessions in South America. Now, here's what Spain owns. They own Cuba, and they own this little island called Puerto Rico. Okay? That's what's left of the mighty Spanish Empire. So let's talk about Florida. How did we get Florida? Now, Southerners have been worried for some time about the Creek and the Seminole Indians. All right? They are raiding Georgia settlements. All right, they're coming across the border into Georgia and attacking them. Once they attack the Georgia settlements, they might kill some settlers, they might steal some crops, whatever they do. They then run back across the border, which is part of Spain. All right? Also, many enslaved African Americans escaped into Florida because, again, this is Spanish territory. About 1,000 African Americans lived in a settlement on the Apalachicola River, and it's called the Negro Fort. The Negro Fort. Southerners want this to stop. They want the Indians to quit attacking them, and they don't want to have a safe haven for slaves to run off to. So they encourage America to take action. Well, in 1818, Andrew Jackson, you remember him, he's the hero of the Battle of New Orleans. Andrew Jackson leads an American troops into Florida. He crosses into Spanish Florida, right? You know, he's invaded another country. Now, Spain protests. They're like, hey, you can't do that. You've just invaded our land. But they're busy. As you remember from the previous slides, there's upheavals and unrest in Mexico, in Central America, and South America. And they're busy with all these revolutions in Latin America to really do anything to stop us. Okay? So, what happens? The Secretary of the State at the time is John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams is the son of John Adams, our second president. He's Secretary of State. So he meets with Spain, and Spain is not eager to go to war with the United States. They know they don't have the resources. Their hands are full. So they agree. Since we can't stop you, let's get something out of the deal. So they agree to sell Florida to the United States for $5 million. This is called the Adams-Onis Treaty. And this was signed in, let's see, what year was it? 1821, I think it's 1821. Yeah, 1821, I'm pretty sure. So in 1821, the United States takes possession of Florida. So Spain now has lost that hold on North America. And now it belongs to America. Okay, so what you need to know now is, 1815, you start to see that unrest. Several countries have formed alliances to help Spain. Now, we're talking about European countries. They're going to say, hey, Spain, we're going to help you out so you can take back your colonies in Latin America. Russia has also claimed land on the Pacific coast of North America. They have a claim in the Oregon Territory. They also claim Alaska and along the coast of Canada. Now, here's the important thing. With Spain out, Britain moves in. Britain is now able to trade with these countries of the central, republics of South America, of Mexico, and they're making a whole lot of money. Instead of all this money going to Spain, it's now going to Great Britain. And Britain fears that if these other countries help Spain get back their territories, they're going to be cut out of the trade deal. So British feared their trade would be hurt if Spain regained control of the former colonies. So the British suggested, hey, United States, why don't you join us with a joint statement, kind of be a United States and British joint statement guaranteeing the freedom of new nations in the New World. All right? In other words, they want the United States and Britain to have a consolidated front. Together, the United States and Great Britain would say, hey, stay out of the New World. Okay? Let's see what happens. Well, James Monroe, the President of the United States, he acts independently. He kind of one-ups Great Britain. He issues a foreign policy statement known as the Monroe Doctrine today. It says this: the United States would not interfere with affairs of European nations. Okay, we're not going to get involved with what you guys do in Europe. At the same time, though, European nations should not try to regain control of newly independent nations in Latin America. And if you do, the United States says they will oppose any attempt to build new colonies in America. What does that mean? It's saying, if any of you European countries try to come back into the New World and establish colonies or regain colonies, we will fight you. We'll fight you. Okay? Now, America in the 1820s, did we have the military resources? Did we have the military ability to defend all this land? Probably not. But they know that Great Britain is on their side. Great Britain has the strongest navy in the world. And they also know that Great Britain has an army. So it's kind of like this. Say you're walking home from school and there's like a kindergartner. And you walk through the guy's yard and the kindergarten goes, "Hey, get out of my yard or I'm going to beat you up." And you're like, "Oh yeah? Really?" And you look up and standing behind the kindergartner is his 27-year-old mixed martial arts brother. And you're like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll leave." And the kindergartner's like, "Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, that's right. Keep walking." The same thing's going on here. The United States probably can't back up this in the 1820s. But we have a big brother, Great Britain, who we know, because of their interest in the trade, is going to back up our policy. Okay. Now, today, obviously, the United States could, back this policy up. And several presidents have called on the Monroe Doctrine to challenge European interventions in Latin America. So even today, the Monroe Doctrine states that European countries cannot interfere with countries in the Western Hemisphere, or we will fight you. So that is the Monroe Doctrine. It's basically telling these other countries to stay out of these newly independent countries. Britain loves this because they're going to get rich trading with these new independent countries. All right? Well, there you have it. Make sure you understand the Monroe Doctrine.